Hey everyone, and welcome to Tantrum House Studio 3. I'm Sarah Meadows.
I'm Will Meadows.
I'm Melissa Delp.
I'm Kevin Delp.
Katie Pills.
And Ryan Pills.
And
Hello.
I almost wanted to say in the house.
Right?
We are in the house.
Yes, so we're all in the house. We're here with a Tantrum Talks where the people who went to Gen Cant are asking the Gen Conners what they got to do at Gen Con.
Exactly.
I thought you were going to come in with
Yeah, it was Jen Connor sounds like John Connor to me, so I was making a joke, come with me if you want to live.
Yes. So anyway, let's go ahead and give a shout out to our sponsor.
So Academy Games just finished their Kickstarter campaign for One Small Step, and we did a preview video for that, but we are really excited about that game. You can probably go on to Kickstarter and do some late pledges, and if not, I'm sure something will open up soon, but we are thankful for Academy Games sponsoring our Tantrum Talks.
Transition to the transition.
All right, here we go. We're going to talk about some giveaways. What do we got over there, Sarah?
We have the game Blunderful to give away today. This is from Bicycle. Most of us know about Bicycle playing cards, but they are also publishing games now. So they have given us a copy to give away. So at the end of the show, we will go ahead and scroll through the comments, and we will randomly choose one and give that person a game.
So give us your shout outs now. Say hello because
Do we have anybody commenting yet? Who's looking at that?
Yeah. So we're going to be asking a few questions of our own, and we'll also be taking some questions from the people in the audience, things that you want to know about how Gen Con went this year, especially if you went to Gen Cant like we did. So the first question that we want to ask was, how did this year's Gen Con compare to last year's Gen Con?
So I didn't go to last year's Gen Con.
Actually, 2 years ago, I think Ryan and Katie and Melissa went.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah.
Oh, and Sarah. So the four of you went. And then last year, only Melissa and I went.
Yeah.
And then
Fort Down representing.
And then this year, it was Melissa, me, and Will. So compared to last year, Melissa and I did go. I would say it was definitely bigger because they had, I think, 70,000 people is what they were saying this year.
I heard, yeah.
Compared to 65,000. Did they say the number of exhibitors this year?
It was over 500 exhibitors, I believe.
I saw that they had tickets up that said sold out on Saturday. Like, they totally had no tickets left, which is crazy.
Did they have a lot of overflow in the stadium like they did?
Yeah, they had they had stuff happen in the stadium. We actually never made it over there this year.
Went over there, but
yes,
that's one of my goals for whenever I go back.
They make it to the Lucas
see what happens in the stadium.
well, that's where they have the board game library now, and
okay.
I think they sell or have tickets in a couple hour blocks, so you can get several tickets to just stay in the board game library.
Oh, very cool.
And it was definitely busier for us because we got to meet lots and lots of different publishers. We actually volunteered for different publishers. Melissa and I helped with CGE and Will with Renegade and Genius Games.
Yeah.
So
Difference for me, I felt like they must have like cracked down on people running to booths, because when I was last there was literally like push and shove. I have a video of like a guy who lost a flip-flop while running to get in line, and somebody else was like, hey man, your flip-flop, and they like threw it like 50 yards to get back to the guy. That was 4 years ago or 3 years ago. This year, I felt like when they released the Kraken or whatever, that people were very respectful, and it was very nice. Everybody was walking. It still was obviously like shoulder to shoulder packed in there, but I did feel like there was a little bit more crowd control.
they weren't releasing TI4.
Maybe that might be what it was. There were several. I mean, there were still plenty of hot games that people were running for, but in a controlled manner, controlled run.
Yeah.
Any commenters there, Sarah?
Not yet.
So of the different things you got to do,
was a couple.
you got the rush at the beginning. What other cool events did you get to participate in?
We all went to check our phones at the same time to see what the comments were, and then no one heard your question.
On Thursday night,
I
Sarah's checking the
apologize.
comments, guys.
There's
You
actually
can put
looking
the
at the other
phones down for a
ideas.
minute.
What other cool events did you get to participate in? What events did you miss that you wish you could have participated
Oh, those are good questions. We got to go to Nerd Nighters on Friday night.
Thursday night.
Thursday night. Thank you, Melissa.
which doesn't really matter, but Nerd Nighters was Thursday.
Yeah.
It all blends together. I know
yeah.
how it is.
It's a charity event that you can donate to. You don't have to pay any money, but it is in the Crown Plaza in their Union Station ballroom area, I guess would you call it?
That was
And-
different this year too, right?
And there's a lot of open gaming that goes on there, so we went later in the evening and got to play a game of cartographers with about 10 of us at the table. None of us had actually, well, I had done a quick demo at Origins, but no one else had actually ever played it, so we pulled it out, trying to learn it, and one of the developers of the game walks by, so he taught it to us
This is
really
really
quick.
hard, yes.
Can't really beat that. By different, I meant supposedly in past years it's been really dark in there.
Oh, it's
A
true.
number
Yeah.
of people were commenting when they walked in, like, "Is this what this room looks like?"
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. They had the lights
They
on
had
this
the
year?
lights on.
So you can actually see the games you're playing. Yeah, lots of people to hang out with and play games there. We also got to pick up a lot of swag while we're there. I think this might be Melissa's. Yeah, that's
Do we
Melissa's.
have to like weigh those?
I know.
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but pins have become very popular, and yes, lots of different pens.
Like the
These are like
like
probably
the
this
Marley and
feels.
Marley Brothers, where you have chains. around
You
your neck and
could
have to
like
walk.
cut somebody with these if you give a
How
hug.
much do you think that's? Probably
Yeah.
3 pounds, 2-3 pounds.
Yeah, it probably feels like a lot more when it's around your neck. But
That's
yeah,
right.
it's like probably 2 or 3 pounds.
Yeah.
But
some-
the,
And
my-
it would clank the whole time,
Yeah.
probably.
My favorite one of my favorite ones is the Foxtrot one.
Oh,
with
that's
the fox.
nice. Yeah.
And then
Sagrada has sparkles in it
Yeah.
because of the expansion. Has sparkly dice.
yeah, so really cool stuff. So we got to pick up lots of cool pins.
Now that we're reading the comments, what do we got
Yes,
in there?
a couple people have commented. They said they got to see you guys at Nerd Nighters.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool. Any
So,
questions yet? No questions.
today.
Ask us
We
the hard
start with
questions.
people.
Who was your favorite board game personality you got to meet?
Favorite board game?
Mine was probably Jeremy Howard. Jambalaya Games. I ran into him the first night, I think I was there, maybe the first morning. So overnight, woke up in the morning, saw him coming, and the dude is super tall. You can't tell that from the video where his kid is the same height as him, but he's probably like, I don't know, 6'6" or something. I'm a tall guy myself, so I usually don't get shocked by how tall people are. But he was cool to hang out with, got to talk with him a little bit about his son and some of the stuff he's got going on. We got to compare stories about how, like, we knew when we got back from Gen Con that we'd have a stack of board games waiting for us, in addition to the giant haul that we brought back, trying to figure out where to store them all and how to play them all.
Yeah.
Really cool catching up with him.
Queen Games had a media event and we got to meet Stefan Feld. So he's a pretty big board game personality.
So he's a designer, Castles of Burgundy.
You guys like that?
and
yeah.
many
Speaking
other
of
games.
tall-
He has his own like category of Feld games.
Yeah, he's very tall as well. So
Wow.
Any other
I wonder
tall
what this
people
height
that I
thing
met?
is with gaming.
You guys
Tom
already,
Vassel's
you guys
very
say
tall.
you already
Yeah,
know
that's
Tom, but and the other couple they mentioned were Man versus Meeple. We are good friends with David and Jeremy
Yeah.
already. I'm sure you guys were glad to catch up with them.
Yeah, we ran into them several different times. Jeremy came to our game night. Was David there too?
no, he was at another event.
Okay, yeah, had a good time getting to actually play some games, so that was a lot of fun. Yeah, those guys are very cool. And Ryan, we hung out with him a couple times too. Who else is on that channel? There's a bunch of people that we bumped into.
Kira.
Yep.
She was there.
So it sounds like y'all bumped into a lot of interesting people. Did you get to bump into any Tantrum House fans?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
Did they bump into you?
We had our board game, our first Gen Con meetup at Gen
First
Con.
annual, let's say it that way.
There you go, first annual meetup. CGE was very gracious in letting us use their room. It probably seats around 200.
Oh, I think more than that.
You
but
think more than 200?
I think we
They had a lot of
had
tables.
over 100.
We had
and
about
I don't know that
150.
We had it full. I mean,
Yeah.
it wasn't even half full.
Yeah.
It was a huge room.
But we partnered with Board Game Spotlight, so that was Derek and Lizzie Funkhauser. So we both hosted the meetup, and it was very casual where you could come in and play games. CGE had a bunch of games still set up from their demos, and then we had some empty tables where people could bring the new hotness that they had just picked up and play. So we had a lot of people come by and see us there. That was the one place we knew we would be at a specific time to tell people, if you really want to see us, come then. And then we did run into a lot of people in the halls, at restaurants, in line for
Maybe
food
we
trucks.
met you.
Did we? That's what we want to know. If we met you, say hi again.
Yeah.
Tell us where we ran into you.
Yeah.
There were so many people. When I was demoing for Renegade especially, I was on like the corner of their booth. And so as people would walk by, like, some people would say, "Hey, Tantrum House," I'm like, "Hey, Will." Once in a while, people would just stare at me like, "I think I know that guy." I always enjoyed it when I'd have somebody come up and then I would be like, "Have you guys played?" I was teaching Lanterns Dice. "Have you guys played Lanterns Dice?"
Cool.
"Oh no, we haven't." And they'd have this like extra glow about them because they like knew who I was, but they didn't say that they knew who I was. So I'm teaching them how to play the game, and then I'd get done and they'd be like, "Well, thanks so much. We love your channel." I'm like, "Oh, you should have said it at the beginning. We could have had a whole different conversation than just here's how you play." But it was cool. It was really fun. I enjoyed all the people that said hi, especially the people who like went out of their way to like, "Hey," and like reach over out of the crowd or shout from a distance. Those are the fun ones where it's cool to be able to reply back.
Sarah?
Patricia asks, what was the biggest surprise game that you played?
Melissa, I think I know which one you're thinking of.
Well, just about a week maybe before Gen Con, Funko Pop announced that they were getting into board gaming and they were creating a design studio and starting a series of games called
Back there.
Funko
Right
Verse.
there, right there. Pull it out.
And they had their opening ones are Harry Potter, which Kevin and I are big Harry Potter fans. They also had some Batman games, Golden Girls, and
That would still surprise me.
I think that was the whole thing, like the punch factor. What?
Yeah.
Double take.
Fighting with what? But we got a chance to demo the game and enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and it kind of came out of nowhere because it was a surprise announcement of like a week before Gen Con.
And the company that's sort of helping make the games also made games like the Harry Potter deck building game and things like that that you might be already familiar with. So they've already made good games, designed good games. So Melissa was able to do a demo of this, and I think she enjoyed her play.
That's probably a good segue with that announcement. What other awesome announcements were you able to hear at Gen Con? What cool news do you have to share?
One of the cool things that I slipped into right at the very beginning was I was
That's an amazing one.
I was demoing for Genius Games, and as I walked in, they made the announcement to everybody at the booth, "Hey, I don't know if you guys knew, but we just bought Artana games," which is very cool. Genius Games has a line of science and biology games. Artana has focused a little more on like the historical themed games, and so by being able to merge, they're going to be able to broaden all their offerings, and so that was kind of a cool, before anybody else knew, John
So
Covey,
learning games.
Yeah.
Cool.
Make you smart games while you play.
Yeah.
John Covey was like, "I'm going to sign the papers right now,
Awesome.
so it's going to be a deal tomorrow." So they released the press release during Gen Con.
That's cool.
They had a booth they had already set up to share together. That was a cool announcement.
We stopped by the CMON booth, or Come On, however you want to say it, cool mini or not. We talked to them.
Come on, Kevin.
I know, Come On is the official, but they say that they will answer by any of them.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, they had this really interesting sort of closed off section in their booth that you could there was like windows that you could sort of see in, and they announced
It
that,
did look like a police interrogation room. as
right?
well.
It was called Taburu, and it's basically a gaming system that you can play with board games.
So like a digital integration with your board game. It's something that's coming to Kickstarter in 2020 and will probably then be produced and released around 2021, so it's still a little ways out.
But just brief overview is basically you can place tiles or boards on top of this mat,
Threefold
and
mat.
there's an app, and on the app it basically runs you through the game, and they're pairing it with Zombicide in this one, so you can basically play the Zombicide game, and it's a new Zombicide game that has voiceover and it has like music, so it's very immersive. But it leads you through, and every player has their phone or some sort of electronic device that's their player card, and you're controlling the character on your card, and you're moving pieces around on the board, and the app knows exactly what's happening, and you're rolling dice, and the dice are Bluetooth to the app as well. So all of this is integrated seamlessly, and on top of that, if one of your friends also has this gaming system in another state or another part of the world, you can actually set it up simultaneously and play live at the same time.
I know that part is just shocking to me.
Right?
Like the whole news of that is just. I mean, it's sort of like I can't believe that nobody's done it yet, but it's also like I can't believe it's possible.
Right.
Yeah.
So
It's
neat.
happening. Very
Yeah,
exciting.
so that was a really big
We all felt that way.
announcement.
Good.
Ryan's already said that once it becomes available, we probably will never see him again.
He'll be at
so-
home
We can play the
playing.
games with him. He just won't.
He just won't
Ryan's
actually-
like, I'll play with you.
He'll
but
have 5 games going so that he can just play
There you go,
with,
get
you
it
know,
right.
like no AP. He can just whatever, you know, each game done.
Really smart.
Another big announcement was Fantasy Flight. They've licensed some new Marvel games. There's a Marvel's miniature games and a Marvel LCG and a Marvel Splendor. So you'll see a lot of new Marvel games coming out from Fantasy Flight.
Marvel Splendor did look pretty cool. Caught my eye as I was walking by. I was like, wait a minute, what's that?
I know. I can't. Are you like generating new heroes? How does that? I'm not sure. Like in Splendor, you're mining gems. Like you're building up these mines and you're refining.
Maybe you're trying to get the Infinity Stones.
What?
All of it.
I'm
So
not
many
sure. That doesn't.
regenerating.
I don't know.
I actually don't know what the real theme is. I should have sat down and actually learned it because it did still look like jewel icons. That might have been
Really?
too far away.
Yeah.
It could have been like something else, but it looked like you were same exact mechanics from what I could tell. It was all laid out identical to the normal Splendor
Really?
layout, but with Marvel characters.
Yeah, it
on
might
them.
be like different types of power and
They're
heroes that
just
you're powering up.
guesstimating.
We are
But
totally.
Who knows?
Well,
I didn't
well,
actually
it's
play.
exciting.
In the comments, if you played it, let us know. What are we
All
missing?
right. So another question we have talking about all these cool games. Eric asks, what is the best way or what's the best recommendation to attack the Gen Con exhibit hall? I
Oh.
tried the supermarket method to just run up and down the aisles just
So,
once, but that failed.
Honestly, the Board Game Geek website actually helped, I think, all of us. Because on their website, they had a Gen Con preview, and they listed, I think, almost 500 games on that list. And so we went through and actually started going through and started saying, I'm interested, I'm not interested. And they have like must have, not interested, undecided. They have different levels that you can click, and it will save all your
And
information.
you can sort it by that.
Yeah.
Did it have the information about the booth numbers? on
It had the
BGG?
booth number as well, so it was a lot, very,
Wow.
very helpful. And some of the companies even partnered with Board Game Geek, and they could actually pre-order the games through their website.
Oh, nice.
And then just
could
walk
you,
in and pick
as
it
I
up.
say, so you could just walk in and pick it up
Yep.
then.
Yeah.
Wow.
So if you didn't do that, what's the best way to attack Gen Con?
I'm probably the type that's going to get the book and look through and know, oh, I definitely want to see this publisher because I know I like their games or I've heard this game's coming out. And I would probably like section it out like, okay, this morning I'm going to do this section, or this morning I'm going to do this section, or I'm going to make a little path through here.
Yeah.
I'm that kind of planner.
Well,
It really is
Wow.
big enough that even being there for 3 days, I'm pretty sure I didn't actually see
Oh, I
like,
did
the
not see
far
everything.
corners of the room.
Because even if you go up and down the aisles, then you also have to go up and down like the side aisles because there's
Yes.
people on the side and the corners, and yeah, you have to be
I
very.
wander around aimlessly,
intentional.
just walking through, and whatever catches my eye, I go that way.
You do
And
the
I-
squirrel method?
I do. I'm just like, oh, look at this. Look at that. And I usually see like the same like 4 or 5 blocks, and that's about it. I get to the end and I realize I didn't even realize there were things over there.
Yeah. And
So,
especially if you demo games.
don't use my method.
If you demo games, you could be there for like 30 minutes to an hour demoing a game, and that takes a lot of time to do that. So if you want to demo more games, you really have to schedule that kind of stuff out.
Yeah, that's true.
I do think it was cool that a lot of publishers got preview copies of games out ahead of time this year.
Yeah, I think that was newer this year, which I
Yeah.
appreciated from
That
our
kind of
perspective.
goes into our
We
next
were able to-
question.
Next question, Sarah.
Did you set a personal budget for yourselves, or do you get a lot of free games?
Yeah, we used
We did
to
both.
have to set a budget, but now we are trying to be real. Actually, even free games, it sounds really cool, but even
It is
with
really cool. It
You have
sounds
to
even
budget
cooler.
your space in your car.
yeah, we have to be really careful because we want to be careful what kind of games we're bringing to you as an audience, so that we are reviewing and playing and creating content for the games that we think are the best games. So we have to be really good on filtering that and trying to look at that as we're talking to publishers. Is like, oh, they're offering, hey, which of these 3 games, or do you want to take all 3 games? It's like, I don't think we want to take all 3 games. We only want to take the best game out of what's being offered.
Yeah, and part of it is time too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we did come back with a ton of games. Most of them were given to us for review, but each game we take is actually work for us. It is fun to play them, but it is work to actually put out content. So we need to budget the time that we have and make sure that we're not overcommitting to what we can actually produce.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people that I talked to did have budgets going in, and they were like, okay, I've already overspent my budget. Tell me which one more game I should buy.
I remember the days when I went into Gen Con with a budget. It's like, we even remember discussing, like, which games can we buy?
What are the top few? A great thing at a convention like this is a lot of the games you can try them before you buy them.
That's great. Great tip.
There's always a few that are going to be the really hot ones that sell out very quickly, so you might be tempted to, I have to buy it, or I might not get it. But most of those, they will be back in stock. It may be a month or 2, but if you're uncertain and you do have a tight budget, you can always wait.
Yeah, there's no way you're going to buy 500 games. I mean, 2,000 to 3,000 games coming out every year. So hopefully this Tantrum House is helping you make wiser decisions.
I always blow my money on things that aren't games. That sounds
You
weird.
like the
but
accessories?
I do, like the metal coins or the metal dice. That's what I end up spending my money on.
Yeah, because there's also jewelry and costumes and art. There's more than just
tons.
Sure.
I'm always tempted by the art, but that's always over my budget. So
Anything else there? We move on.
What was the best food that you had while you were there?
First, we should have
This is
scheduled.
sad.
We should have scheduled food because we were so busy. There was a couple times that we just didn't have time to eat.
Yeah,
So
almonds for
power
lunch
bars,
once, yeah.
but yes. So we ate at a couple burger places. The Ram's a pretty popular place at Gen Con. We got to eat there with Jeremy and Adelaide, our friends, and Kirk Dennison actually stopped by.
Yeah.
He is the owner of Peacekeeper Games, and got to have the peanut butter burger. I'm not sure what the name of it was, but that's the.
Do they have
they-
peanut
they-
butter?
Is
Yeah.
that
They
the?
changed the whole menu when you're there, so
I was gonna
always
say, is that the
different.
Stranger Things?
That was at
No,
a
no,
different.
that's and we're talking about
Okay.
that. So there was also another burger place we went to called. So we basically ate pizza and burgers the whole week, but the other place was called Burger Study, and they were known for their more gourmet burgers. And I didn't personally have the Stranger Things burger, but basically it was 2 Eggo waffles,
Okay, makes sense.
two burger patties, peanut butter and jelly,
And
Nope.
jelly.
And-
There's jelly in there.
Yeah.
and hold on, and they said to us, just so you know, most people who buy this also put bacon and eggs in the sandwich, in the burger as well.
That's a lot of food.
Yeah.
That would be a
Protein.
split. You'd have to split it.
And then you have to eat it
I
upside
think
down.
I would have loved
Right.
every bite
No,
of it.
you
though.
have to eat
Whoa, upside down.
Yeah, we got to hang out with
Makes
Jimmy
sense.
Hudson, right? Yep, Jimmy
Yep,
Hudson.
Matt Ryan.
And, yeah, Matt Ryan from Bezier, and
Some of his friends.
that was a good time.
Yep.
It was fun to order the Stranger Things burger.
You did it?
To watch them order
Oh,
the
okay.
Stranger Things burger. Just to see it come out and just see that first bite, and then decide, no, made the right decision.
Yep. We did have one nice meal at Harry and Izzy's.
Yes.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah, we had some shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, with
And-
some crazy horseradish on it.
Yes, and I had the chicken. It was really good.
It was the sinus cleansing moment of the experience.
Yeah.
Next question. This is back to gaming.
Yes,
How do
good
you
idea.
decide when to get an expansion or not?
Ooh, okay. So first, I want to make sure I really like the game.
But what if
Yeah.
the expansion makes it so much better that,
What if it
for
fixes a
example,
game?
Edison versus Tesla versus Edison,
Yes.
like the first game, good.
Right.
I don't know if I would have played it a whole lot. Expansion, way better.
Yeah, I can
Played
see
a whole
that.
lot more.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
It's true.
Usually,
That's why you go to a con and you try it out.
usually expansions you just have to buy, you know.
If you like, I was gonna say, if you like the game, you just buy the expansion.
If you
I
already
do.
have, if you already have the game, you have to buy the expansion. Or, especially if you like Smash Up, then you just have to get all the expansions.
Everyone.
How many of you
File
are
it in that big box.
completionists? How many of you think that's rubbish?
Yeah.
All right, next question. Does Tom Vassell get mad at Kevin for trying to encroach on his hat?
So you heard about that, huh?
So Tom and I had a discussion. He actually asked me, he goes, why don't you just like wear like different hats? I was like, well, I didn't want to
Encroach.
Yeah, I didn't want to encroach. I didn't want to be exactly like Tom. So I have my one hat, and Tom like has different hats. He asked me to take my hat off, so I should. He's like, oh, to keep the hat on.
We did have someone
They did a
ask in here what you look like without your hat
What
on.
does Kevin look like without
So what
his
you
hat?
can do, honestly,
Go watch all of our.
if you go through our lots of videos, there's a few videos
This is like 2 or 3. He's
that
forgotten.
actually I forgot my
He
hat.
forgot his hat.
So
And
you can find them and you can
there's
see what I
comments.
look
Kevin,
like.
where's your hat?
Yeah.
We don't recognize you without your hat.
And I'm
Kevin,
definitely
I
not
love
taking
the
it
hat.
off tonight because I did not comb my hair.
I don't have the picture
It's
with
bad.
me. I have a picture of my kids. They found this hat, or real close, in like a hat store, and they were immediately like, do. All 3 of them had it on. Look, we're Kevin.
So basically,
I have a picture somewhere. I'll show you.
I'm not famous. My hat is famous.
Yeah,
That's what it
We,
is.
We
almost.
actually-
So at Origins, Kevin did not get to go to Origins, just Melissa and I. And had we had the
Time.
resources
Yeah.
to do this, we realized we should have just brought Kevin's hat.
Yep.
But he had videos to make, so we should have just brought a little cardboard cutout
Yeah,
of Kevin's
okay,
hat.
next
His
time.
hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do want to try the experiment sometime though, and just see if we switch hats. Like sometimes people will still call Kevin Will and Will Kevin. I'm pretty sure if I wore the hat and we walked right side by side, they would just be like Kevin. Like, what's up? What's up, Kevin? It's hard to know. It's hard to know.
What else do we got? Any other questions?
So Friday night, we know is a big night for
Yes.
Gen Con.
Yes.
What did y'all do with your Friday night?
So first, we wanted to make sure we hit the AEG Big Game Night because they had, I think it was 1,000 people there. We wanted to stop
Oh,
by
wow.
and take some
was pretty
footage
cool.
and just say hi to them. They made some big announcements with Curios and Point Salad, and of course, one of our favorites, Tiny Towns.
Yes, they were actually playing almost
1,000-ish
1,000 people playing Tiny Towns all at the same time.
Oh, what?
They had the designer, Peter, he would hold up
It's
a
gonna be
card.
some sort of record.
So it's kind of like the video we did where you flip a card to see what the
Yeah.
next resource is going to be. So he held up a big card and they had about 15 people around the room that would then hold up that card, whether it was brick or glass. And so everyone would do it and then he would, do the next one.
Oh,
so
my.
It was crazy.
There has to be a record. Somebody needs to check that.
They-
Well, I'm wondering if like bingo games, like there's probably bigger rooms.
That's
of people
lame.
playing.
That doesn't count.
They did some research on it.
They
though.
did research, and there is another one. They needed there was like a.
They said in Japan, the world record for the most people playing one board game was in Japan, and it was only like 1,000 or 2,000 people.
I
And
thought
then
it was 14,000.
It was 14,000. I
14,000?
think it was
Oh, that's
14.
way more.
Yeah, it's
They
14,000.
said that
No. They did 14,000 people because we needed someone like Gen Con helping them create something so they could do 20 to 30,000.
Yeah, I thought it was much lower than that though, because I thought it was only like 10,000 and they would break the record.
Yeah. Anyway, we could definitely
Google
do it.
that.
But while that was going on, Will and I had to go to a side meeting. So we sent Melissa along to the Renegade rally, which was basically announcements that Renegade was doing. And so
Because
Melissa,
they're putting out a lot of games.
so Melissa went there, and Will and I finished our side meeting, and we decided to go there. And Will was like,
Oh, it's
"Hey,
time for this story?
Yes, time for the story."
We'll
Everyone
take-
settle into their seats here. 'Cause they're ready for the story. So Will's like, hey, I work for Renegade this during the Gen Con, so I know some of the the side hallways and back ways to get in. It's like, oh, it's perfect. That way we don't have to
They're late.
we can get in the back way and we don't have to get in the wrong spot. So we go through this back alley in Gen Con. And Will's like, yeah, this the first door on the right there. I was like, okay, so I open the door, and I open the door into all the
And I go like
faces,
this.
all the faces facing me, and Scott Gaeta, who is the owner of Renegade, is there giving his presentation to all the people who
The whole
are
room
listening, packed into this room. And I have a couple thoughts going through my mind because, first of all, This is probably taking like at least probably 10 seconds, but in my mind I'm thinking, what am I doing here,
What?
standing here for 1 to 2 minutes? But I either had one choice of just going for it and just walk it in, or
Own it.
own it. Or number 2, I could just back out slowly.
And meanwhile,
Meanwhile, Will's back there thinking,
Left him high and dry.
Yeah,
Apparently.
I was thinking the same thing. Like, man, I hope he doesn't go in because there's no way I'm going in. They haven't seen me yet. I'm just gonna sneak back around to the front door.
So you had the option to walk out on stage,
Right.
or you could just
or
back out.
slowly. So I just there and I just close the door and just back out slowly.
Like a magician, he just disappeared.
So if any of you were there and saw
Did
that
you see it? That's
random
what we wanted.
distraction, that was Kevin and Will.
It felt like all eyes were on me, but I'm sure only like 5 people actually saw what happened.
Oh, okay.
They probably-
yeah, I
you know what?
actually didn't
Make
see
yourself
it.
feel
They do have
better.
it on video. We need to find that video.
Well, that's true. And then I walked out around back and saw the rest with Will.
Yeah,
and
we walked back around the back, and then as soon as we get in the back, they're like, get in, get in, get in, get in. So they're like pushing us in, and then as soon as we get in, they're like, get out, get out, get out. Because we walked
right by the camera.
Yeah, right in front of the camera, and they're like, no, get out.
Right. And then after Renegade, Keymaster Games was putting on their meetup at Tappers, which was a arcade/pinball hangout. And we took an Uber out there and got to hang out with them. And
It was packed. We actually arrived, and
Yeah.
there was it was standing room. There wasn't any standing room.
Yeah, we
I
had
don't know
to
what the word is
wait.
for that.
yeah, we had to wait to get in the room.
We
But
got to the door. We're like waving at people inside. They're like, come in, come in. Like, we can't. The guy won't let us. They met fire occupancy or whatever.
Yes.
Oh,
So
wow.
once we got in, they had all the arcades were unlocked, so it's free play. The pinball was not free play, but Melissa is such a good pinball wizard. We
It's worth the
spent
investment.
some money, and she got to play a lot of the cool
Yeah,
games.
I really enjoy playing pinball.
I was terrible,
It's
by
fun.
the way, at Mortal Kombat. Console, rocked. Full on 9-hit combos every time. This, no, not good. I was getting destroyed by small children. No, there weren't any children there, but other people were beating me every time, and I was like, I thought I was good at this game.
Sarah?
Do you have your own meetup?
Yes.
I know we kind of already
we
talked
did
about
talk
this,
about
but
that,
we have
but
some new
Thanks for
stuff
joining and asking the question.
yes, so early in the video we did talk about our Gen Con meetup, and this was our first time we did it, and it sounds like we're going to be doing it every year. And CGE was very gracious in letting us have our meetup at Gen Con. So we
Yeah,
had
in their room.
in their room, yep. So
We did it at 10 p.m. on the Saturday night,
yeah,
and
it worked out really well, and it wasn't like anything specific. It was just more come hang out, casual, play games.
it was
seemed
actually
like,
one of the few times I got to play a game.
yeah, it was really
not
nice
demo
actually.
one or not teach it or not.
I
learn
think people
one.
really appreciated it. That it was just a casual.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
I like
And
it.
you guys met up, you teamed up with Board Game Spotlight
Yes.
on
Yeah,
Yeah, Derek and
Fun
Lizzie.
calendar.
Yeah.
the fun calendar.
So the cool thing is, actually it's really hard to find spaces to play games
It
at
is.
Gen Con. So it was a nice place.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. I don't even know what I want to do in the future with that. Like, it'd be cool to have it blow up with a bunch more people, but I actually really kind of liked,
Right.
just come and actually get to play games. So it was fun. It was
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
All right, next
Oh, next
question.
I thought Katie's gonna ask a question. It's
Um,
Sarah's turn.
There's Sarah. Sarah's
So
going
what
for it.
goes
She's got the
on?
live action.
This is actually for Ryan and Katie.
Ryan and
What goes on during a Gen Can't?
Well, Jen Can't mostly ended up with us filming some videos. We also got to
Eat waffles and hamburgers.
no, we didn't do that.
Finish Stranger Things.
We actually did watch Stranger Things.
There you go, got it.
And we kind of crashed a friend's house and we're like, we're coming over and let's play some games. So we went and played games at a friend's house.
Yeah, Space is a lot of fun. I highly recommend it.
Yeah,
I
we
highly
enjoyed
recommend the
that.
expansions.
Yeah.
Just check it out.
And the
Because I
promo
like-
cards.
Yes, and the promo
There you go.
cards.
Yes, and if you don't have the space-based promo cards, you can email Sarah at tinterhouse.com. Do we have any left?
Late
We
pledge
have a few
Kickstarter
left.
action.
Yeah.
Sarah,
Um,
S-A-R-A.
Yeah, I don't know if our local game store did it, but many game stores across the country did pop-up Gen Cons. So during that same weekend, they were releasing some of the games that were also releasing at Gen Con. I
Pretty
think
brilliant.
That
AEG,
is pretty brilliant,
Big Game
actually.
Night had some of their games, and some other companies had advanced copies to release at the same time in retail stores and at the convention too.
So we've talked about a lot of cool games. What were the hot stuff
Oh, we gotta talk
Hot
about this one right
games.
here.
this year?
That was one.
This one right here.
Sold out.
Letter Jam sold out. This is from CGE. Melissa and I were able to demo for them, And this is a cooperative word game. If you played Hanabi, where you can't see your cards, basically you have all these letters in front of you and it spells a word, but they're all face down and you can't see them. And throughout the game you are sort of revealing these cards face up so everyone else can see these letters. And they're basically trying to give clues throughout the game so that you can deduce, every player can deduce what the letters are in front of them. And then at the end of the game, you all try to arrange them so they actually make a word. And if everyone can do that around the table, then the team wins.
Yeah, it's actually pretty thinky and can go horribly wrong, but still in a fun way. If someone has an R in front of them and they think it's a D and they're like, oh, they write D down and they keep moving and then they try to make a word at the end, it might not be the word that they thought it was.
Yeah. And if you do buy a copy of Letter Jam, there is a secret message somewhere on the front of the box that you'll have to find.
That Will discovered. Come on, give me the credit.
That Will discovered, but only because it was on a banner that was super big.
That did make it way easier.
No, he did a good job because Melissa and I passed that banner like 3 days in a row without seeing it. So, anyway, that's Letter Jam. Will?
Oh man, I don't even know. So obviously the Funko stuff was really hot. Everybody was talking about that one. Parks, yeah, I was really pumped for them. A lot of people talking about that, and the thing that was most exciting for me, was we had played prototype versions of it, which were really beautiful, but to actually see the finished thing, man, even better than my expectations were.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that was very
Parks
cool.
was one of the games that we personally backed on Kickstarter this year.
Yeah, I got to demo Terror Below from Renegade, which was pretty hot. People were really excited about that one. Medium sold out.
Oh yeah, we got to play that on our podcast.
Have been playing. We played it at our meetup. That was probably the loudest that I've laughed in a while, and I didn't even have a voice to start off with, so that was a good one. What did you
Yeah,
do?
let's see. Black Angel sold out from Asmodee. We have not played that one.
I heard a lot of people talking about Horrified. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, that's from Ravensburger.
And it's actually available at Target, correct?
Oh wow, cool.
Maybe.
Yes,
Detective City of Angels from
Van Ryder.
Van Ryder is a pretty popular one. And then, of course, Foodies from CMON as well. Foodies, we enjoy playing, and we're going to review video out.
Yeah,
shortly.
it's similar to Mache Koro in the aspect that you roll dice, and the dice that you roll affects everyone's board, also kind of like space-based. So
that's like space. You'll guys like it. It's got food, but with space-based.
Yes.
Food
We'll need to
based.
try that one.
Yes. Not as heavy as
Bring
space-based,
that to
though.
game night.
Sounds
We'll all
good.
try it.
Sounds good. Any
Other
other
comments?
Let's
Questions?
see. Next
yes,
question.
there were tons and tons of
Oh,
other
man,
hot
there was,
games,
yeah.
but yeah.
Question: do you have a gaming con?
What?
Who
Was
asked
that
that
like
question?
segue? You're amazing.
That's Jim.
Jim, thank you. Let's talk about Tantrum Con 2020. Go to tantrumcon.com to find out more information. But it is January 30th, 31st, February 1st, and February 2nd, so that crossover weekend between January and February. And this is our second annual Tantrum Con. And it's amazing 3-day, 3.5-day convention that we play lots of board games, have special guests and special events and tournaments and all that kind of cool stuff. And one thing that I think we all like is something special is that we have these sort of special meal events, or what do we call them?
We gotta get a good name for them.
Food
we call them Munchin games.
Anyway.
We tried something.
Basically, it's you...
Tournameals?
Tournameals.
They play...
Except they're not really tournaments.
No. But anyway, you're paying a little extra for the meal, but
Which you were gonna do anyway.
you're going to have to pay money for dinner or lunch anyway, and you get a little meal with some gaming going on.
So like last year, Bezier sponsored us with their New York Slice game, and so everybody came and ate pizza, and then they got to play the game, and several winners walked away with the game. We did a bunch of different ones like that. We've been talking about a couple different ideas for ones this year. We need to talk to you, Chad.
Chad, winner chicken dinner, if he's watching.
Ooh. Our convention is in Spartanburg, South Carolina,
Thank you, Melissa.
at the Marriott.
Yeah, it's a really nice venue, actually, super comfy, really well lit, very like clean and large and spacious. We were excited when we found it because we were like, this is the place. We're having an event here.
I can't say it. Tantrum Munchins.
Tantrum Munchins.
Tantrum
Better
Munchins.
as good as anything we come up with.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah,
I'm
coming up with a new name.
Keep giving us your suggestions.
We'll let you
All
know when we
right.
find a winner.
There are a few games people have been asking if you specifically got to
Okay.
play, in your
Name
opinion,
some of
on them.
Go.
Abomination.
So, no, I am interested in the gameplay. It might be a little too dark for our channel, but it's basically about Frankenstein's monster, and you're making Frankenstein's monster.
It does
Well,
sound
a
cool.
like friend for Frankenstein.
Oh, anyway. Okay.
So you're digging up body parts,
Yes.
I believe.
Oh
I
my.
think it's
And
a
you-
worker placement.
And you're putting
So
them together.
archaeology.
Right.
Cool.
And you're basically
Or grave robbing.
trying
depending on how
to
you
put
look
these
back.
together before the meat spoils.
Oh.
There's like a rot trap.
Yeah, there's a rotten trap. So it's kind of interesting, but I don't know if it would go over a family-friendly idea. But it does sound kind of cool.
Yeah.
More of that.
Another one is QE.
QE is a bidding game. I actually got to watch it played
Yeah.
Someone was playing it at our meetup.
at our meetup. I don't know that much about it other than you can,
You like pick an item.
yeah,
Everybody writes down what their bid is for the item,
right.
and whoever has the highest bid wins the item. So you're trying to win as many as you can. But at the end of the game, whoever has spent the most money loses. So you can't just be like $100 bajillion.
But you
And
can if
then-
someone else does more, $200
Right.
bajillion
Because they
dollars.
start thinking like, man, I'm never going to win anything. I got to up my bid. So it's like this really interesting secret
Wow.
bidding thing. The people were pretty excited about it that were playing it. They were like, I can't believe you bid. Oh, how did you win that? Like, it looked fun. I want to try it out.
Okay.
Dry erase, stock looking stuff. Pretty cool.
Another game was Deep Blue.
I do not know that one. That's a good question. We'll have to look that one up.
Did anyone see it?
See
That was
it.
the
I
question.
didn't
Did not
see
see
it.
Deep Blue.
Who's it from? Anybody know?
I don't know.
I'm asking them.
Lots of people enjoy getting to play Funko Pop games.
Mhm.
Eric got to play the Harry Potter with Golden Girls.
Oh, that's
Oh,
fine.
really?
Yeah, because you can mix and match them.
Crown of Amara.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it, but I did not get to play that. Yeah.
Let's
We actually didn't get to play that many games because we were working a lot.
We got to see a lot of games that are coming down the pipe.
Actually, I taught Alchemists a lot at Gen Con from CGE, and I enjoy teaching that game. So
Yeah, I taught Prodigals Club, Galaxy Trucker, lots of Letter Jam, a couple other games from the CGE room.
I taught Proving Grounds, which is a single player game, which I
A
don't know that I've
single
ever
player?
really played. It was neat. It was interesting. It was a dice rolling, like trying to knock out the bad guys with your good rolls in a certain amount of time.
cool.
It's part of their new solo hero series at Renegade, which I don't know really what that
Yeah.
means. If I had not snuck in the back, I probably would have heard them talking about it, and then I would have known. But
Yeah, they actually are coming out with more solo games in the Proving Ground series.
yeah,
And they're also
or
coming
the
out with
Hero
another
Quest series.
Fox in the Forest game from Foxtrot and
Oh
Renegade.
yes.
Fox in the Forest
Duet.
Duet.
Mm-hmm.
It's two-player trick-taking cooperative.
What?
Kevin and I played a prototype of it at Dice Tower Con, and
Yeah.
it's really interesting.
Mhm.
I think it was kind of like when they first came out with Fox in the Forest, people were like, you can't have a two-player trick-taking game. And now you're like, yes, we can. And I was like, you can't have a two-player cooperative trick-taking game. Oh, yes, you can.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's got this push-pull mechanic where you're trying to move your token, but you're also trying to help the other person get the other token. Yes, I think it works really well.
You can't have a solo player cooperative deck building trick taking game. Challenge accepted.
Challenge
Let's see
accepted.
Cooperative solo game.
it. Right? Working with myself. I did hear somebody, what was the joke? I don't know if it was a joke. Somebody was talking about a 0-player game last week. Did you guys
No,
see that?
No.
What
You
was
just
that?
watch the game play itself.
Something, I don't know.
Amazing.
No,
It
that
was listed as like 0 to 5 players, and people were freaking
Isn't
out.
that kind of like Candyland? You don't actually do anything. You just flip over all the cards.
Just help
Whoa.
the game
Hadn't
move
even
along.
thought about it. Candyland. You're right.
Yeah.
0-player game.
How are we doing?
Another question.
Oh,
Katie kind of talked about this when she goes shopping at Gen Con. Daniel said he got the Quacks board game bits, the upgraded
Oh, cool.
bits. Do you ever pimp out your games and get
Yes.
upgraded components?
yes. I like for Christmas one year I asked for like the Stonemeyer resources
Oh,
set,
yeah.
and I helped with like Imperial Settlers, and like there are some other like games that Kingsburg, because I really enjoy Kingsburg, so I wanted to get that, and of course I got a lot of the Broken Token or Meeple Realty inserts to help make sure things. So yes, definitely 2 thumbs up to that.
Yeah. Or Kickstarter. things where
Yes.
you're like, I think I'm
Premium
gonna go ahead and pledge for the higher level
Yes.
and get the extra
Yep.
goodies.
There's
Yes.
something really nice about, like, even when you have played the game a bunch of times, there is like a little extra, I don't know, enjoyment that comes out of it when you're like, oh, now I can make the coins sound cool.
Yes, I
Why?
love
Yeah,
that. The,
metal
like,
coins.
the metal
Metal coins
coins,
are
I
really
love the way those sound.
Another question. How does one find companies or games that they don't really sell in the U.S.?
Find one of your friends that live in Germany and ask them.
Or specifically at Gen Con, how would you go about finding these?
So an example of one is the Ops version of Thanos Rising.
That was
as
Star
Vader,
Wars. Mm-hmm.
Vader Rising or whatever
Yeah.
it is, which is not going to be released in the U.S. So we're going to Essen to pick one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I do see games once in a while that are in other languages. We're fortunate enough to have some friends who do bring us games once in a while. That
Actually,
picked up in other
some
places.
people go to the German Amazon website, amazon.de, and you could actually purchase board games on the German website. It's probably going to cost you more, but if there's a certain game that you're looking for, that is one way.
And I assume they ship it to your American address.
Yeah.
No problem.
Do you have
I haven't done
to, is it all in German? You have to like use a Google Translate?
I guess so, yeah. I've never personally done that.
Depending on what game you get, like Blue Orange, they have all
An
the
instruction
different
manual with everything.
instruction manuals in there
Yeah.
for the different languages. So depending on what game you purchase, it may already have English rules to it.
That's true.
Or it may be fairly
Or-
language independent in the game.
Or you may get Mysterium before it was in the US,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're trying to figure out the Polish rules.
Yes,
like,
that
you
was
were.
difficult.
Mhm.
Google Translate this. What does that even mean?
Usually what happens
It was a
is we
mystery for
play
us.
the game based on memory wrong,
yeah,
and then find
that
out
is-
that they do have the translation on Board Game Geek. That's a good place to look for rules
Yeah.
if you're looking for updated English rules.
How do you ship back all the games you get at Gen Con, and how much do you pay in shipping? This was almost a problem for us this year, because you guys
Oh, we did-
barely fit it all in the car.
We did help some
drove.
friends bring their stuff back.
Yes.
We
so,
drove.
we drive. I do notice that some people who fly have friends who drive.
Like us.
Like us, we actually brought some games back for a friend. I know there were some other reviewers that we were talking to that are flying, and they had friends that we actually were working with. They were driving back to other places, and so I think they just find people that would be fine with me.
Again, I do know some friends who had to ship games to California.
I have friends who went to Gen Con this year who are from St. Croix, which is U.S. Virgin Island. And what they did, and I thought it was pretty genius, was they packed light and they did carry-on only on the way there, and they packed extra bags in their carry-on bags so that when they got back, they could put all their carry-on bag stuff in checked baggage and then carried their games in the extra bags that they had packed before.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's actually pretty
Packing the empty
genius.
suitcase is the way to go.
Yes, they
That's what
packed
we'll
an
be doing
empty
in Essen.
they packed an empty suitcase and carried it back that
Can
way.
you guys get 2 suitcases each?
We
We're
can
just
however
not gonna-
many we want to pay for.
We're not going to bring any t-shirts with us, and then we'll just wear the demo t-shirts that we get. And then that way we'll have the
Uh-oh.
clothes
One
back.
t-shirt.
Stay away from that.
You'd be
No,
washing
no,
your
our
clothes
clothes
in the
sink every
sink
day.
in the
I don't have room in my
hey.
luggage.
so
No,
bad.
we need some of the clothes to
Leaving the
pack
shirt
around
here.
the
Right
games
home.
in the
right.
suitcases
Protect
so
them.
they stay protected.
Right.
Yeah.
Although I think our issue is going to be, I think we're spending a couple extra days in Amsterdam, so what do we do with all the
Haul 'em
games
around
during
with
that time? Hauling them on the bus?
Yeah, haul 'em around.
That'll be fun.
So,
You should spend a few
Santa
days
sack.
before in
Sounds
Amsterdam.
like a good idea.
It sounds like a good idea, but tickets are like half the price if we go after.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well,
So
So maybe we can
I
afford the
can
shipping.
afford more games and the extra shipping and hauling them around.
There you
We'll
go.
see.
But yes, there are lots of people who do have to ship. There are lots of stores around near the convention center, like UPS and FedEx, and sometimes even the hotels. And some of the convention centers will also help with shipping and that. But it probably is really expensive. And that's why we drive the 8.5 hours every time.
And there's 3 or 4 of us, so that
Yep.
makes a big difference too. But.
yeah. Take turns driving.
At 2 a.m.
Thomas asks, do you ever buy art at Gen Con? I personally have not.
No.
I've usually
I've
saved
been
my budget
sorely
for games.
tempted though.
Yeah, I know Katie's been close
I've
to...
collected a
artists
lot of
ourselves,
like
we have more than we have
stuff
to hang
that
on
I'm.
the walls.
Yeah,
I
that's
will
true.
come back to this. I still have like cards of artists, and I go check their websites every once in a while and think, okay, how could I get this in the future? So no, I haven't actually bought any, but I do always try to find that section. That is the one difference to my like squirrel craziness of running through is I try to find the art section and make a point to go through that
Cool.
section.
Yeah, I did see a lot of really cool art, and I saw a lot of people carrying around prints that they had picked up.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I haven't bought any myself.
I did buy some at Tantrum Con though.
I did too, actually.
Yeah, there was a guy
I
at
bought it as a
Tantrum
gift
Con.
that I still haven't given to the person.
Andrew.
The screen printer guy? I don't
Yeah,
remember what
his
name was,
first name's
but
Andrew. Anyway, he had some really cool
clever
pop
screen
art
prints, yeah.
stuff.
All right, a couple more questions. Michael said it'd be cool for local stores to hold Gen Can't days for those who stay home. I think there were some, we did talk about, there were some pop-up Gen Cons this year. Patricia said she bought some original art from Wingspan, which I think would be really
Whoa!
cool.
Yeah.
Original art
Yeah,
from
I
Wingspan.
think that would be a very cool
Yeah,
piece
that
of
was a
artwork
cool
to
I think
have.
both.
Can you post pics to
yeah.
YouTube? You can't. I want to see what it is.
Oh.
What does it look like?
Both Elizabeth Hargraves, who is the
Yep.
designer of Wingspan, and I believe at least one of the artists was at
Oh, that's
Gen
cool.
Con this year. So I know a lot of people were getting things signed. Some people were bringing a card with them, so they didn't have to bring their whole Wingspan game to Gen Con, but a specific
Just a
card to
card,
get
that's
it
a good idea.
signed. So
Very neat.
All right, I think that's most of it.
Okay, awesome.
Oh.
We're approaching the hour mark, so we have been talking
So-
Gen Con for quite a while.
Yes, Ryan, would you mind rolling a die on your
Sure. Are
phone?
we picking a winner?
We need
Yeah.
to pick a winner.
Oh, that's true.
For those
Good
of you
job,
who just
Sarah.
joined halfway through.
oh yeah, probably a lot of people weren't there when we
didn't
announced
even
that
know
we
you were
were
commenting
giving.
for
Yeah,
Yeah.
all your commenters, you guys here.
Wonderful.
Do you have
Which
a
Do we
number?
know how many?
Which
Okay.
we did play
Alright,
this
Sarah's
on
gonna
one
do
of
that.
our podcasts.
So while Sarah
episodes.
counts, keep commenting. No. Any commenter is entered for a chance to win this copy of It's Blunderful from Bicycle. They were at Gen Con this year for the first time, I think.
Yeah, probably.
But
They have
Bicycle.
both of their games. They have, or I don't know how many they have. I saw Shuffle Grand Prix as
Mhm.
well, which is like a race card game.
Yep.
And it's wonderful. So we're gonna give it away. We're gonna roll a die, a 1,000 sided die, or however
Glad to
many we
give
got.
this away because this is Ryan's game.
Does it have his name on
Well,
it? Did you
we have
autograph it?
another
No.
copy.
We still have a copy.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right,
No.
Sarah. Close.
There's so many.
She's still counting. This is
Good job, you guys.
betting
Commented a
on
lot.
life's awkward situations, and if you want to see us playing this, you can check that out on our YouTube channel.
Let's
as
do
well.
80 because I lost count in there somewhere.
All right, so more than
We can go
80.
There's
85.
less than 80, but
Less
we're
than
gonna.
80. Okay. So we're gonna draw one number. He's gonna
Alright.
roll his magic digital die.
35.
Oh boy.
Number 35.
While she counts to 35. Any last questions, Melissa?
Someone was asking about why you thought Abomination was too adult for the channel and
I
what
think
that
that-
means.
I think that
I
theme.
personally think it would be fine, but,
Okay.
but Kevin thinks it might
Maybe
be a
it's-
little
maybe-
too.
I think I just need to
Gruesome,
play
maybe?
it. Maybe gruesome, or the theme just seemed a little. Yeah.
I don't know.
We've
There's-
had a
I'm
there's-
few
interested.
kind
there's
of
so
dark
many-
themed
I guess we do
things.
We have done
Zombicide.
some.
Yeah, it's probably not any worse than Zombicide.
That's true. We'll do it.
Oh.
Maybe if we get a copy of it.
We'll play
Kevin
it and then see.
committing.
I'm not committing.
There are so many good games out there that we have really tried to focus our efforts on the thousands and thousands that just fall into the family-friendly and fun category, and so that's where we spend most of our time
But
playing anyway and reviewing.
Zombicide is okay.
Ryan and I
Fully
really like
endorsed.
Zombicide.
Yeah, I think it was more of we just didn't
We
have the
hadn't played
time for it
Mhm.
when it was coming available to be reviewed, and
I just think the gruesomeness of the body parts decaying is kind of weird.
Really,
So-
it is.
Let's
That's
see
a
what
little
it looks like in the game.
potentially a little much. It depends on how it was handled. I agree with the art. Like you can with themes like that, you can either go like very realistic into the gruesome and like horror
It
genre,
looks-
or you could go into the like funny,
It
you
was
know, humorous
zombie.
side.
Definitely realism.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Cool.
So it's the kind of game
Maybe
you play at
Genius Games will
Halloween.
pick it up, and it can be like a
Oh, there you
scientific.
go.
Oh.
All right.
The
So
winner.
the
I
winner?
believe our winner is Daniel McMillan.
Daniel McMillan.
That's who we're claiming anyway.
Congratulations. You can email Sarah.
SARA@tantrumhouse.com.
Send us your address, and we'll get the game sent out to you. Thanks so much for watching.
Yep. A couple people asked, what are the other games in front of us?
Oh,
We got so many.
yeah. Say this one real quick, Melissa.
Potemkin Empire, basically, it's based on something that happened in history. This con man that built these fake cities to get money out of the Russian leaders. And
Oh, my.
It sounded like a really
Yeah.
interesting
I'm
theme.
already interested. I was
It's
like,
really,
what?
really interesting. I have no idea about Tenari,
Haven't done anything with it yet.
but it's from IDW.
We will be trying to put previews or reviews or playthroughs or some kind of videos together for the vast majority of what you see out on the table.
All of them.
We'll also be doing a What's on the Table session again sometime soon, probably 2 weeks out or something. We typically do those on Saturday mornings, and we do a bunch of unboxings and like quick playthroughs to give you a taste of some of the stuff that we've been trying to play and get on the table.
Yep. Jeremy as Art said, I hope more gaming cons will bring forth more art-focused groups like mini painting. Guess what? We're having mini painting at Tantrum Con.
Yes.
Yes.
So
We
we,
actually-
have
yeah.
several publishers who do minis. Give us plenty of
I don't know if you said this, but
Donations.
Simon said they're gonna.
Simon and
We got
who's the other
some
one?
from another company.
Yeah, but Simon told us that they would.
I can't forget the other company,
Oh,
but
It's
Monica has them, our other
Oh,
partner.
yeah.
Are we asleep yet?
yeah.
Yeah,
Was
we'll
it
have
Whiz?
some-
Was it WizKids?
Whiz Kids, that's
Yeah,
what
is that
it
what it
was.
was?
Whiz Kids
I'm here
gave
for
us
you.
like
I'm here for
200
you.
some, so we
Yeah.
have plenty, and we got
Lots,
pink coming.
lots and
And
lots.
we've got instructors coming in that are going to
Yeah,
be
we do have
teaching and setting
instructors
it up
to
for
do
us.
teaching. So,
It'll be
we
fun.
are still talking about PAX Unplugged, whether any of us are going to.
I'm
Well-
hoping to go. I don't know who I'm going to demo for or what my plan is, but at least one of us will be there. Maybe Andrew, our intern, will be joining me as well.
Oh,
So
that's exciting.
that could be very cool. Trying to work out the details. Yeah, would love to see people there. Sarah and I will be at Essen, as we mentioned.
Yeah. If any of you will be at Essen, we would love to catch up and play a game.
And then all of you will be at Tantrum Con, right?
I guess I'll
In
go.
January, February.
What,
Very cool.
Kevin?
I think that pretty much wraps it up. Feel free to put some more comments in the below section if you want to, because we'll scroll through there and see what else we can answer. But we've had a lot of fun talking and recapping some of our fun events. Thank you guys for the questions, because they were fun to answer, and we know that you guys were interested in that kind of stuff, and that helps us to know what kind of stuff to put on the channel. So keep talking to us. We enjoy talking to you guys. I think we'll roll it out from there. Check out this cool cover image from Academy Games, and then go see if you can late pledge.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.
Academy Games.